Hello everyone and welcome. I am so excited to be bringing this scrapbook layout share today. I have 11 pages, so 5 double page spreads and 1 title page, all using a brand new collection that is launching on 1st of July. Being a close to my heart maker, I have been able to play with this during the preview period, so we get access to everything and we can order it 1 month before the actual official release of the catalogue. And you can probably see why I'm so excited about this collection in particular. It's the first collection in this book and it's called Cape Cod. So I'm just going to flick through to it so that you can see it. I absolutely love the colour tones with this collection. It has more of a neutral colour tone to it throughout the whole entire collection. I'm just going to flip straight through. This is the paper pack that I have used and you'll see that throughout this. I was going to flip through the papers with you, but I have pretty much used all of them up. I've only got a few little leftover pieces with all the pages that I have created with this. I've used the paper pack and the sticker sheet, and I've also used the die cuts as well. So the embellishment pack is a little bit different this time. It comes with 2 sheets of die cuts, so you get the craft die cuts and you get the white die cuts, but there is also within that collection some acrylic shapes, and they've got this blue sort of tone to them which mixes in really well with this collection. There is a coordinating cardstock collection to go with this as well, but what I have used within my layouts here is mainly white, Toffee and Periwinkle, and I've also brought in Shortbread because I thought the softer colours of Shortbread really paired well with this. I am going to flip through this a little bit. I was going to do an unboxing to show you all what I'd actually bought, but I just wanted to get straight in and share these layouts with you. The digital art collection is absolutely fabulous. One of my favourite stickers in this collection is this little seagull here, and there's only 1 sticker of it, but because it is within this digital art collection, I can cut more of him if I wanted to. So what I'm sharing with you today basically uses just the embellishments, the paper packet and the sticker sheet, but I do want to show you the other items that are available, and I have purchased all of these items I'm showing you here today. The card making stamp set, it's a buildable set, so it has a wash feel to it. This is the sky, this is the sea, and this is the sand, and then there are other elements on here as well, but I can see so many more uses for these textured type stamp sets. They really do add a lot of light and shade when you stamp them. This stamp set here, the scrapbooking stamp set for Cape Cod, these actually stamp up absolutely beautifully. And I'm just going to bring the set in because I do have some of these already stamped and I wanted to show you how good they are. They come with thin cuts, so anything that is shaded, the seahorse, this banner here, the coral and the crab, they all come with thin cuts. And I think you can see from this the light and shade you get just with 1 colour of stamping. I haven't added any other colours here. These are stamped in Periwinkle, Lagoon and Toffee, and the shading on these images is absolutely beautiful. Nothing else is used. You just ink up your stamp pad and stamp them and you get these beautiful end results. So I can't wait to use those on some projects that I'm going to share with you soon. You can see the stamp set here has swimming in the seas, soaking up the sun and playing in the sand. Gorgeous title. You can put it all together as one piece or you can separate them out and use them individually. So this was a must-have for me. So I'm just going to set those aside for now. And I'm going to turn the page on this, and this is the scrapbooking workshop kit. You buy this as sort of a bundle type pack and you get the paper packet, the sticker sheets, coordinating cardstock. You also get exclusive die cuts that are very easy to press out, and you get a sampling of the embellishment pack. And that will create these 3 double page spreads here, and you will have leftovers that you can extend this set even more. And one of the things, if you don't know about our scrapbooking workshop kits, is that you do get exclusive pattern paper that's not available any other way. You can see the background here has this textured blue, so that's these 2 sheets here, and you get a sheet of this gorgeous stripe paper, and when you build this page, this part all presses out and it becomes like an overlay to put on top of a white daisy piece so that you can continue this pattern across and do this very cool title. And of course I've purchased this as well, so So basically everything that's in the Cape Cod collection I've purchased, and I can't wait to get stuck into this one. The Cape Cod card making workshop for me was also another must-have. I just love the cards that are created with this and the techniques that are taught, but the exclusive stamp set is one that I had to have as well. And when you use this, there are stamp sets, but the die cuts themselves don't come with a stamp set. They create their own very special features. So I'm just going to hold the starfish up here. You can see that there is detail within this die cut. You don't just get the outline of the shape. It does do partial cutting on other areas so that you get all of these gorgeous textured bits coming through to create the shapes. And I have lots of projects in mind for these. I'll just get out the ones that I've inked up slightly with the Periwinkle, and you can see the lines and everything that come through. You get an idea when you look at this on the actual page in the catalogue, but when you actually run this through your die cutting machine yourself, it's a bit of a wow moment when you separate it all and you see how this actually cuts in real life. So for me, that was another must-have, but I am really keen to show you what I've created as a scrapbook workshop for this collection. I do want to mention that at the end of the video I'm going to show you how I achieved some of these looks with these die cut elements and how I practiced that. It's just a quick little demonstration at the end, just so that I know that the colors and the texture with the inking that I'm applying to the die cuts are going to work before I actually ink up the actual die cut itself. You'll notice as I flip through all the pages that all the pattern pieces have been edge distressed. Sometimes I tear into them a little bit and I can bend that back if I want to. I have done all of this with scissors, so I'm making all the cuts and then I keep my scissors closed and I just run it down the edge of the paper several times until I get the look that I want, and that brings some of the white core through from the actual pattern. I do want to mention that if you're a VIP of mine, you will get the instructions to do all of these pages. If you're a customer and not a VIP, you can place an order with me that includes this collection as long as the order adds up to $80, and you will get the guide from me as well. And I will have a link below with all the details for that. If you just want to purchase the guide itself, you can do that as well. Just expand the description box and you will see everything there that you need to create these, and also a link to purchase the guide. I have kept most of this fairly clean with white backgrounds. If you wanted to add some splatters, you could do that definitely with Glacier ink or Periwinkle ink or even Toffee ink as well. All you need to do to create splatters is to push the lid into the stamp, and you will get like a little well here of ink, and you can just add some water with your water brush, pick that up and splatter it around. But I haven't done that with these. I just wanted to keep a nice clean white background to this and the focus to be on the gorgeous pattern papers and these little embellishments. I may be a little bit guilty of putting all the seahorses that are in this collection onto one double page spread, because I know I'm going to put photos of my mum at the beach with this. She absolutely loves seahorses. So this is layout 1. Let's get into layout 2. This one's got the same beach icon paper, and instead of it running this way, I've got it running across the bottom here. The icons are arranged so that they can have any orientation on your page. This one I kept this way, and the cutting guide will have it so that the boats will all be the right way up, but everything else is sort of changed around, and I'll just turn one around. If you have it like this, you would have the anchors running in this orientation. You can have it running across this way, and then the hammocks go in that certain direction. If you have it this way, the deck chairs and also the seagulls run in the correct orientation. So there's no right or wrong way really to put this paper at all. There's not one direction. Everything is turned around so that it has a great flexibility and adds a great pattern to the page. You can see that there's some treatment done here onto the die cut, and I've backed that with a little bit of white daisy. You can back these pieces. They actually match one on top of the other. So this one would sit on top of here if I rotate it around. Beach is could go on top of this one, and calling could go on top of this. But I've extended it out so there's more little signs pointing off, and I just liked how that looked rather than just having the 3 down in this corner. I love that the stickers come with banners and you can chop those up and create more of them, and always the word art. I absolutely love the strips that have the words on them. The word strips to me are are really great for tucking into photos. And some journaling spots here, and on 3 of them I've used 3 of the acrylic shapes. And you can see here I've got acrylic shapes here with the birds. They're not too high, they don't create too much bulk, and the little fence post and everything, and another bird over in this area here just helps carry this little decorative item across to both pages. So now I'll move on to layout 3. Here's my favorite little sticker. It's funny how I can just pick out one little sticker from a pack that I absolutely love. I love this seagull. The artwork on this I just think is just so cute. This one I've backed onto Periwinkle, which matches the anchor pattern perfectly. And you can see more of the patterns coming through here. I haven't used the beach icon one on this one, but you could certainly substitute it. And this is where the Shortbread photo mats come in. I just found that they gave a nice soft look to this layout. And even though the featured colour is Toffee that's within this stripe here and on the wood paper, I think the Shortbread works really well with it. And of course you can pop your stickers up onto foam tape as well, just to add a little bit more dimension. So I'll move on to layout 4. I've got the stripe here, and I've also got the word art page. So happiness comes in waves. That's a repeated one, but it's done so that it comes in and out like this to create a wave look, which is really fun. This is more of the fence here. I didn't use all 4 on one piece. I wanted to have an odd number on this one, and the other one was on layout 2, I think it was. This little deck chair journal spot is absolutely perfect to have on a page like this. And you could also, of course, add more splatters and more journaling in here. This hasn't got a dedicated title as such. I've just used the word strips to be the titles. And when I put photos on this of an actual place, I'll probably put that across this area here for what beach it is. So now we'll go on to layout 5. I've used the circles on this, the die cuts that have a 3-inch circle, and I'll have a link to that below, and just cut those in half. And the only parts that I've edge distressed on these are the outside pieces of the circles before I cut them in half, because I just wanted to keep that theme going across all these layouts. I love the intricacy of this coral here, and you can see there's a treatment done on all of these die cuts. And I've also brought in some inking around this title here, just to blend it in a little bit more with the actual pattern papers. This is one of the stickers that it's a 12-inch sticker, so that runs all the way across here, and this is one of the zip strips as well. You can see this is sitting up a little bit. I've got the sticker backing piece underneath here so that I can slide photos under this, and I will be using all of these photo place holders as mats as well. So this is a true 4x6, so I'll cut my photo down 1/4 of an inch on 2 sides so that I get an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around, and there's some little journaling strips here. But what I wanted to suggest also, if you look at this and you have more to say, you can always put a 4x4 photo here and use this section here to add more journaling. You can put a 4x4 photo here and put some more journaling at the top. It's quite flexible to use exactly how you see fit, and you can also add more photos by adding flip flaps very easily to all of these pages. There's always room to add flip flaps. I haven't got embellishments over the top of every single photo. The other thing that you could use if you wanted to extend the story of this is one of the pocket memory protectors. You can use an 8.5 by 11 memory protector, and you can use a 6 by 6 memory protector. They will all fit within the albums to extend the story. So that's the 5 double page spreads, so 10 layouts altogether. And now I've got the title page to show you. When I finished my double page spreads, I had some 2-inch squares left over from these strips here, so I had 6 of them, and I started playing around with them to create a little border, but I also had a little bit of the pattern paper left over as well, so I cut out a few 2x2 squares. So I decided I wanted to make a grid type title page for this album and use the beach life, which is the die cuts. There's several other die cuts around this page, and you can see with the beach and the life here, I've done some ink blending here just so that it wasn't straight white onto the page and underneath this overlay here. So the life here is in the white, and it's also in the craft as well, but it's actually an overlay section. And with the photo mat for this photo here, instead of keeping it all equal, I've kept the first one equal, I've offset the next one in Shortbread, I've then offset the white, and then I've grounded everything with a large toffee mat, and that creates some other layers and separates it from the pattern papers. And then I had some circles left over from my cutting, and I thought it would be fun to tuck these in here as well. So I hope you like everything that I've created here with this. I'm going to bring in a piece of cut down all-purpose mat, and I want to show you how I decided how to treat these pieces without actually doing it first on the actual embellishment in case I needed to tweak or change the inks that I was using. It's better to play with a little bit of scrap rather than straight into a precious piece that you know you don't have another one of. So I'm just going to bring this title page back in, and what I did was just grab my Periwinkle ink and open that up, and I'm going to tap a little bit off and just bring it in a little bit gently just to see if I like the look of that. Now obviously I had pressed all of these pieces out in case I got any of this ink onto these pieces. I wanted to see what the colour would look like and how it would look up against these actual pieces here. So this is a bit of Periwinkle. I've obviously come right off the edge so that I can get that colour there, and you can see that that has worked quite well. But it was a little bit too strong for these titles, and there is Glacier within this paper pack as well. You can see there's a lighter colour here, that's actually Glacier. So what I did for this one is bring in my Glacier ink just for the beach life. I'm just going to clean my brush off a little bit because Glacier ink is a little bit lighter than the Periwinkle. I'm going to go around to another section where I've got a little bit more purchase just to see what will happen if I mix the two together. So I'm bringing in the Glacier ink. I'm going to wipe that off just a little bit. You don't need to do a big section to work out what you want to do with this. And now I'm putting the Periwinkle over top, and that's a bit of a softer colour. Now this will dry back. Don't go too heavy-handed, but if you do go too heavy-handed, there is some redemption to this, because once you put this away and then clean up your mat, because there's blue ink on here, I'm just going to wipe that up with a wet wipe and dry that off. I can then tone that down with some White Daisy ink. So I'm just going to bring that in, and I'm just going to pounce lightly over top just to dull that down just a little bit. And this is why you want to play with a scrap piece. Now, I know you can do this on White Daisy cardstock, but this is slightly different tone. So by pushing everything out and having a play with what is left behind, you can then experiment to achieve the colour tone that you like. So this has actually got 3 layers of colour on it. Quite easy to achieve, and there's no stress when you're using a waste piece here. And I'm just going to bring in the first double page spread so that you can see the seahorse here. So this one is this die cut here, and he is all Periwinkle. I'm just going to open my Periwinkle ink, and I'm going to rub quite a bit of that off and just come in ever so lightly. I'm not pushing down at all like I was when I did this piece here, and I can get a much lighter tone to the edge of the seahorse. And I've just come in on the edges a little bit more on his tail here and left a white highlight in the middle. Now for the shells and the leaves and some of the other elements, I haven't used all of these die cuts. There's a lot on here, so if you wanted to add more to these pages and do bigger clusters, you definitely can. For the white die cuts that have the tone of brown on them, I've actually used Toffee ink, and I've done the same thing. I've done a little test. You can see that's my initial test here, and a very light hand, and just come in with Toffee just to give a little bit of texture to the element here. So you can see if I hold it up against the white here, you can see there's definite tones of Toffee ink on there, and it just stops it being a flat white die cut, adds another layer to it and a little bit more texture to the element. And the one I want to show you here, and I did this to all of the craft die cuts that I've used, there's ink on them, but it's not a smooth blend at all. So you can see there's a lot of die cuts here that can do with with the texture. I've done it on the fences, I've done it on the leaves, on the coral, and on the birds. But what I did was just use my mini blending tool, the one with the flat sponge, and I tried going in off the edge like this to see what it would look like, and it was much too smooth for what I wanted. So all I've done is ink up, and I'm hoping I can translate this to camera and hold it like this, and the camera will hopefully pick this up. But I've just inked up the edge here, and then I can go in and just add little bits of it, and that's probably a little bit too strong, so you might want to tap off first and then come in and just do little marks like this, and you'll get these cool little lines and little edges. If you want to put a little bit more on, you can flatten it out a little bit more, but just remember the craft will absorb quite a bit of this white, and you can see already this one has paled back quite a bit, but it does absorb into the craft. But you can get some really cool touches with just a little light hand. And I've gone a bit heavier here for camera purposes, for recording, but you can see that gives a beautiful texture to a craft die cut and really elevates the actual design that is within this, with this gorgeous shell and seahorse. And also on the fence here, you can see there's just a little bit of white. It's not the whole one that's covered, so you do need to angle your mini tool here so that you don't go straight up and down and cover the whole entire craft piece if you wanted to achieve the same look. This one here with the sign, I tended to swipe more across it because I wanted more of that look on there and to tone it down a little bit. But you can see here on the fence, I've achieved that as well. And I'm just going to bring my title page back in so you can see it's on the birds, it's on the palm trees, and it does absorb in quite a lot. So I could probably go back in and just add a little bit more here. I'm being very gentle because I don't want to get it absolutely everywhere. And just add a little bit more white to that. I've got it on the overlay of the word life. So I'm just doing a very light hand, angling this quite a lot, inking it up and going down this actual area of the die cut because it does sit up a little bit, so I do have a little bit of wiggle room. So that's all the tips and tricks for this one. If you wanted to add little dots, little splashes, as I said before, you can definitely do that to bring even more texture into this, but I'm just going to leave these ones be at the moment, and I can't wait for summer to arrive here in Australia so that I can get some photos on here. But I might go back through some older photos that I know I haven't scrapbooked yet, and they will be going onto these pages as well. As I said earlier, all the links will be below for everything that I've used with this. Just bear in mind that the products won't be available to purchase until the 1st of July. I just couldn't wait and had to share this with you a couple of days early. And this catalogue is now available. If you do an online order, make sure you scroll down to the bottom so you can add one to your cart for free. So that's a way, if you haven't made an order yet this month and you want to, you can get your hands on this catalogue a little bit earlier by doing an order now and adding it to your cart. So always check as you go down when you're doing an order for any specials, like a VIP bundle that's going at the moment. If you make a qualifying order, that's right through until the end of July. You might be able to add one of those to your cart for free, but always check to see if you can get your hands on a catalogue for free as well. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you stuck with me on my layout share and the little tips with inking, I hope you love this collection just as much as I do. I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to play with the other products that I've got from this collection and share those things with you too. As always, happy crafting and bye for now.